Well, didn't have any trades yesterday or the day before, so today's the first recap in a couple days. Took a trade. Price action, honestly, today, not my favorite. Pretty weird, choppy, but volatile. If you didn't know, Apex accounts are 80% off right now with code TBM. It's 1 day to pass as well, which means you can pass in 1 day. You don't have to. But you can get up to 20 accounts. I trade 20 of the 50K funded accounts with Apex. Let's go ahead and dive into the video. Yo, good morning. Welcome. My guy has a meeting telling you. It's true. Yeah, no hat means I have a meeting. It's true. It's very consistent. If I wear a hat, I typically don't have an in-person meeting, or it's not one that I'm going to be filmed or anything like that for. Today, I have one. Yeah, I got a podcast this afternoon. Not a trading podcast, just like a life podcast. I'll tell y'all what it is after. Yeah, after we record and once I get some dates on it and stuff. It's called the Don Rob Show. And I'll post a link afterwards so y'all can give it a listen and support him on a new venture and things like that. So anyways, markets, little flush on the overnight, kind of pushing out of it. Maybe we get the rotation into 830s. Looks pretty solid. It's only 80 points higher. Interesting spot at least, right? 830s into 900s, 920s. I think both of those spots are pretty interesting. Markets are open. Overnight highs are, 20 points higher. So as of right now, it just kind of feels like everything should be probably going up a little bit. Maybe a little pullback to start because we are up a little bit on the overnight session. So maybe a little bit of an inventory correction down and then rebid off 720s or 700 or something. You never know. News-wise today, we've got nothing. We got Fed Bar speaking at 9. But as far as like during the stream, we got nothing. All right, we got volume up here at 800. Very little correction down and nice push out of it. 50 points so far. And here comes the 830s potentially, that daily level that we were just talking about. Pretty close, 10 points off or so. I mean, magical 20s here. I'm going to go and say that's pretty much there. All right, nice slap off the 20s. Makes sense. As always, I'm waiting the first 15 minutes. That's what I do. Let all the, initial weirdness kind of wiggle out. And we got, 1,500 people in here already? We should definitely get lit before 8:45. Because I got a good dad joke for you. I think it will land with almost everybody. And lately, we've been kind of on the movie theme here, I've been giving kind of reviews on TV shows and movies. And so it definitely lines up with that. That's all I'll say. A little tease to get you to press the thumbs up button down below. All right, we're going to run the lows real quick. Nice slap, 60 points. Off of the 20s. All right, got volume here at 50. Delta's going somewhat flat. Maybe it looks like it's about to teeter off a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Got 2.5 minutes till I'm green lighted to trade. It's also lit. It's lit. So here's the joke. September 10th, Tuesday, September 10th. Going up on a Tuesday. Anyone looking to buy a DeLorean? Good shape, good mileage, only driven from time to time. I like that one. I think that's pretty solid. I think that's one that I'll keep on the side. I keep the ones that I like on the side so I can use them again at some point in my life. I'm going to keep that one on the side. All right, new lows. Again, I can't say it enough. I'm really just watching for the, 700 VWAP, yesterday's close sort of area. We barely ran the lows, so there's something to say about that, but I'm also not even green lighted to trade yet. There's nothing to be done yet for me. All right, chat, let's address this because every day in Discord recently, and then even every day on the stream, I have everybody always asking, is that a wick test? Is this a wick test? Why do you not think that's a wick test? Matt, why didn't you take the wick test? I take the wick test when it's a true wick test based off of the indicator that me and Gary have made, right? That's when all of the parameters are set that we like, okay? It comes in Sierra chart. In tradingplatformhelp.com. That being said, there's a lot of different types of wick tests, right? At the end of the day, anything that goes and trades a wick is going to be a wick test. It's just not going to be the wick test that I like to trade. Okay? Does that make sense? Could you take this one? Sure. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not the one trading it. It's not my problem, right? Did I take it? No, because it's not a true wick test for me. Too much upside wick. Not a true engulfing to the downside, right? There's lots of things here. Now, that being said, What I want to tell you, and what you really need to hear, is that if you're going to try and trade the wick test, you need to test trading the wick test. Just like with anything else, right? There's nothing ever in life that will ever be, hey, by the way, this is the setup. Just take this trade every single time. You don't need to back test it. You don't need to do anything. Just take this setup and you'll make money. That's wrong. It's just wrong, okay? So if you want to learn how to trade the wick test, you got to put in the work to understand what the things are that you like in the wick test, right? If you wanted to take that trade, you should take that trade. If you're going to ask me why I'm not taking a trade, it's because I obviously didn't like it, right? Guess what? If you want to put in the work and you understand that, you know, we're kind of in the middle of a range here, it's early in the day. Let me like see what would have happened if I would have taken this wick test. And then you start formulating your own opinions on the wick test and the ideas behind it. Then it becomes your own thing. And then you know what to look for yourself. And that is the key. You got to learn what to look for yourself. It's not just oh, we got to trade Matt's TBM wick test. No, I'm going to trade the wick test how I learned to trade the wick test, right? The parameters that I personally researched and found to where I like trading. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of this whole idea of the stream, as well as trading in a nutshell, is that you take ideas and you morph them into your own thing, right? Take my ideas, for instance, like my idea of the wick test. And instead of trying to figure out exactly how I look at the wick test, you got to look at it yourself and learn how you piece it together yourself so that your brain will start picking up on it, right? A lot of trading is pattern recognition, just straight up. And how do you get pattern recognition, chat? You look at your freaking screens for a long period of time in order to see, okay, if I get these parameters, then a lot of times this is the outcome. So if this is the outcome, how do I trade it in a risk-defined way? And a lot of people have been tagging me in Discord recently saying over and over again, Matt, is this a wick test? Is this a wick test? Is this a wick test? And the answer is at the end of the day,
guess what, man? Got my first payout. Cheers.
Hey, GG's.
Clinking beer mugs.
Hey, I'll clink a beer mug with you. GG's. At the end of the day, if it retested a wick, it's a wick test, right? Is it the parameters that I'm using? I don't know, right? But it's up to you to figure out your own parameters that you like. I'm just kind of ushering this thought. I'm ushering the thought forward for you to then run with. Does that make sense? That's the idea. I'm here to usher some thoughts forward. I'm here to trade it how I want to trade it. I'm here to usher some thoughts forward. And then you're there to figure out, how can I take this to the next level? How can I actually implement this? How can I look at what I'm seeing and trade it enough in a real environment, trade it enough looking at history, and then implement something that works? Which, by the way, should be the goal and the idea for not just the wick test, but for everything that you see in trading. If you're trying to take someone else's rules, concepts, abilities, whatever, and implement it into your own self, if you're not putting in the work to actually practice it and learn why it's doing that, why is this the outcome? What are the different areas of confluence that I see in order for this to be the outcome? How do I define my risk for this to be the outcome? If you're not doing those things on any sort of concept, come on, be better. So there you go. And if you want my specific rules for when a wick test pops up, then tradingplatformhelp.com. I mean, literally, it'll pop up with an actual like example indicator. But everything else, if it doesn't pop up with the indicator, it's not a true wick test for me. Well, sometimes I take it, maybe, but it's going to be like, I need to be seeing a lot of other stuff going on for me to really like it. If then statements. Yeah, exactly. That's all trading is at the end of the day, because nothing in trading is actually known. There could always be a weird sweep. There could always be a random variable that comes in, i.e. someone accidentally fat fingering in a trade or something, right? There's random variables that come in. Nothing is truly known. So everything in trading is an if then. If this happens, then I expect this. If this happens, then I expect that, right? Not trying to roast early. I mean, we're 20 minutes into the day here. I just think it's really important because I've been seeing it so much. And the wick test is an amazing thing. So I understand why I see it a lot, but I just like, I gotta reiterate the fact that you got to really press for your own knowledge. How can you ever expect to be confident in something if you don't know the reasoning behind it? And by the way, everybody that you see who's a good trader has done all of that work. Choppy. It's in that volume here now as well. Right in the middle of the range. You got 24 minutes till initial balance is formed. To the guy that was asking earlier, now we're at the spot where we can start talking about it a little bit at least. As of right now, initial balance high was formed first, okay? Now, if we go run new highs, then initial balance low would have been formed first because the green line would keep going up until 9:30, right? That's some weird movement. I don't enjoy that movement at all, to be honest. Like, that looked like a really strong move. Delta-wise, That looked pretty solid as well. And then we get this slap out of it. Back into volume. Like maybe that's the buys point of control here, but I don't know. That's weird. I don't like it. There's levels of the madness with chop that's like okay. And for me, like a 60 or 70 point like chop 10 minutes is not it. I think that's very challenging to trade. Like a really solid looking, you know, 3 minutes of trading. Delta looking good, pushing into back up into the highs, and then it just gets destroyed the next 3 minutes. 100 point yoink. Yeah, and in 4.5 minutes. I mean, that was a pretty solid aggressive slap. All right, we're gonna flush that block. I mean, surely, right? Maybe asking we will receive. It's been sitting there for a while. The 200 block is 75. There it is. And we got new point of control up there as well. There's volume, bouncing off a little volume right now. I don't think that gets filled. I'll be honest. I don't think it gets filled, but we'll see. Initial balance is formed as well. If you trade quant trading, are you saying like algorithm trading? I think everybody goes through that phase in their life cycle of trading, of wanting to code their own trading strategy. Oh, I'm making money. Why shouldn't I just take my emotions out of it and just code it myself? And then you realize that the markets are ever changing and that you end up spending more time making sure everything's working than you do just trading it yourself. All right, I'm in on the wick test. Testing value area low. Prior open. Got a 100 block at 49. I took it off. I don't trust it. We swept through. If this candle goes back down into this area, I think we sweep through VWAP again. It was like not really responding to that block at 50. I don't know. I don't like a wick test when it floats through. I don't like it when we float straight through it. And like I was okay with seeing this bounce off value area low and this cluster here. I mean, quite literally support, right? You can see we bounced it, we wicked out of it, we rejected, we bounced it, right? I'm okay with that. But if we come back down to that area, I think we slapped straight through the 09s. I'm not okay with that. So I went ahead and took it off. Basically break even, 55 bucks. Maybe I get filled, maybe I don't. Looks like I get close to getting filled. Maybe I got filled just then, or I would have gotten filled. Would have been very close. But just not worth the risk there for me.